Good morning, dear students. This is Manikya Rao, lecturer in economics, working at APRJC, Tatipudi. How are you all? I welcome you all once again for today online class. So, as we have discussing about second year economics, chapter 2, that is population and human resource development. In last two classes that we have seen that importance of population and what are the causes of rapid growth of population, why birth rates have been increasing, what are the factors that are contributing to grow India's population day by day, under which we have seen that there are nearly three important factors: economic factor, social factor and other factors. And later we have seen that what are the remedial measures in order to control India's population, what steps to be taken to control India's population. Same, that is economic measures. Under economic measures, as we have seen that a creation of employment opportunity and expanding industrial sector and reduction of poverty. Under social measures also, education must be given and improving the status of women. And there are many things that we have seen when we talk about causes of rapid growth of population or high birth rate of population in India. Now, let us, as a continuation part of the same chapter, that is rapid growth of population, that is family planning. Family planning, it is very important for 5 marks. Family planning. We know that India is the first country which introduced family planning in the world. 1952, India has introduced family planning program entire the world. This is the first country, 1952, in order to control population. But India has failed to control its population because there is a defects in Family Planning Act. Family Planning Act. Even people also, they could not understand, they could not realize the importance of family planning program. As a result, still India's population, it has been increasing steadily. So, as a country like China, they have implemented one child policy. One child policy during 1980s. So, by introducing that one child policy, India has succeeded to control population in a large extent. Earlier, the growth rate of China population, it is 26%. It has been reduced to nearly 21.5%. It has reduced, whereas in India it has failed to control population. So therefore there is a need to study what are the steps to be taken, that is family planning program. Under family planning program, we have to see the public information program. First thing is public information program. Family planning program, it is a best device to control population in a large extent. But that program should go into the minds of the rural people. Then only people, they have to recognize the importance of family planning. They come forward, especially newly married couple, when they are go for reproductive age group people, when for them the proper counseling will be given, definitely they will go for that is public information program. Public information program, it has to be go into the minds of the people through public media, that is newspaper and ads, and even television, through cinema, or even some important clips. So through media, this information must be go into the minds of the people, especially for reproductive age group, newly coupled. Then they come forward to do voluntarily, that is sterilization must be reduced. Reproductive rate will be reduced. So newly coupled, voluntary facilities must be given to them with regard to family planning. With regard to family planning, that is public information program. Family planning program, what are the advantages? Family size will be small, whatever the income, it will be sufficient for them. Overpopulation, it is not a burden to them. And for the running of state government, even country also, if it is a less population, more income, the per capita income will be high in the particular country, like Japan and Norway, even Sweden, Iceland. All these countries, always they have less population and more national income. When population is less, income is more, their per capita income will be high. So therefore, always Norway, Sweden and Finland, even Denmark, these four countries, they are in the top of all human development index. Human development index. So because of it is a less population, they have more resources, they have more income. So that is the best features in those countries. When it comes to the India, case of India, it is overpopulated country. As I already explained in earlier class, that is India is nearly, it is 132 crore India's population. So public information program, the information must be going into the mindset of the people, rural areas, through media, electronic media, print media, through newspaper, through media. So that is public information program. Then coming to second one is incentives and disincentives. Incentives must be given. Incentives must be given for newly coupled people who come forward to go for family planning operations. Family planning operations. Incentives must be given in the form of cash. In the form of cash. So those who are not at come forward to sterilize or to family planning, for them certain economic benefits, some economic schemes, programs must be stopped for the particular families, like white ration card or pink ration card should be stopped, and other important programs must be stopped for those people. Disincentives means the incentives should not be given to those who are not coming to the family planning operations. So in earlier, during 1970s and 80s, family planning program, it has been a forceful, but now it is a voluntary. The coercive methods should not be followed. During Indira Gandhi period, some contraception methods, it has been followed by force in order to control population. But family planning program, it should be always a voluntary. Let the decision taken by couple, wife and husband. We have to stop our family size, let them stop. Otherwise they have to give chance to another child, they can give space for another child. So this is the situation, incentives and disincentives. Then third one is family planning centers. Family planning centers must be established. So under that, clinical and healthcare, women and child, all facilities must be given. Free delivery and abortions, all those things must be done in a family planning centers. More information family planning centers should provide to the families with regard to reducing the family size or family planning purposes. Then coming to research. Research must be done. Research must be done in the field of demography, that is study of population, and communication, action, and clinical and other biological, and fertility and contraceptions and postponement of pregnancy. All these things must be done through research. So when research has been done in the field of family planning, so it should be indirectly help to controlling of India's population. So this is a family planning program. When family planning program, if this question will ask you, you have to write these 4 important points. So first point is public information program, incentives and disincentives. Third one is family planning center and research. If these 4 points if you write, you will get 5 marks. 5 marks. Okay. Then coming to population policy. Population policy 2000. Population policy 2000. National population policy. National population policy 2000. What is the meaning of policy? As we know, education policy, health policy, agricultural policy, industrial policy. There are many policies, even new population policy. Policy means it is a set of ideas or procedures. It is a set of ideas or plans what to do in a particular situation, headed by a group of people. It should be approved by Government of India. Then only the particular policy matter will become a policy. Environmental policy. So like this, national population policy. So our main aim is to control population. Population must be controlled. So Government of India in earlier also have done put lot of efforts to control population. For that 1952 family planning program has been implemented act, and 1966 there is a special family planning program department has been established. Even earlier 1952 family planning act, family planning act, and 1966 department of family planning, department of family planning, and 1976 population policy, population policy. These are the things earlier it has came, but 1976 population policy it has failed to reduce population. So therefore, after nearly 30 years, that is 2000, new population policy has been emerged. So that new population policy, it has generally it has underlined the three important objectives. Immediate objectives, medium term objectives, long term objectives. Long term objectives. So these are the three important objectives. So in order to control population, Indian government in the 2000 year new population policy, it has been drafted that immediate objectives. Under immediate objectives, what should be main things under immediate objectives? To meet need of contraception. Contraception means to take capsules and tablets in order to postpone early pregnancy, to give birth to a child. Contraception methods and health information, personal health for basic services and reproductive child health care. All these things have been formulated in the immediate objectives to meet need of contraception, health information, personal health care, and for basic reproductive health and other important things. Contraception. Government has focused contraception methods and health care and other important personal health and for basic reproductive child health care, all these things. And it comes to the medium term objectives. It refers to lowering down infant mortality and maternal mortality rates, lowering down the total fertility rate, TFR, total fertility rate must be reduced. Total fertility rate means over a period of time, a woman after getting married, how many issues will give, how many births she can give during her period, pregnancy. So that is the total fertility rate. Some families, they may give chance to 5 children, some families 6, some families 3, in some families 2, in some families 1 or none, 1 child or no child, or 1 or 2, 1 male, 1 female. This is enough. Or 1, whether it is girl child or male, 1 is enough. So this is the priorities generally families they have, that is lowering down total fertility rate under medium objectives. Then coming to long term objectives, it can give importance to by 2045, by 2045, population must be stabilized. By 2045, population must be stabilized. Population must be stabilized. So this is a very important thing. So under long term objectives, population must be stabilized. So these are the immediate objectives, medium term objectives and long term objectives in order to control population. So population policy, it has been given some guidelines by expect committee. That is, first one is reducing of MMR to below 100. First one is under new population policy, that is to reduce MMR, that is maternary mortality rate. Maternary mortality rate means at the time of pregnancy, women and child both they have died because of due to early marriage or health problems or early pregnancy or whatever the health problems faced by mother. So MMR, maternary mortality rate, at the time of pregnancy and delivery time, mother and child both they die. So it should be reduced below 100, but right now it is nearly 130. Right now it is 130. It should be reduced by 100. It should be reduced 100. That data according to 2016 and 2017. Then coming to second one. Second one is reduce IMR. Reduce IMR, infant mortality rate. Infant mortality rate can be calculated, that is by 1000. Infant mortality rate, it should be coming down to below 30, but at present it is 28.3 at present. IMR, infant mortality rate, also it should be reduced, but it has already been reducing because of 28.3 it has been reduced. Then third one is achieving immunization for children from all type of diseases. Achieving immunization of children against all vaccination diseases. Vaccines must be given to achieve 100% delivery in government hospitals. To achieve 100% deliveries in government hospitals. But nowadays, as we have seen, deliveries at the time of delivery time, majority of the mothers, it has been taken to corporate hospital or private hospitals. Even in village level RMP doctors. So with the less knowledge, many mothers they have been died. Even children also at the time of birth they have been died because of there is no proper medical aid at the time of labor, pains and cesarean time and operation time and delivery time. When they go for proper corporate hospital or government hospitals where the specialized doctors are available, there mother and child will be safe. So because of healthcare system is not yet developed in rural areas, so that to achieve 100% deliveries in government hospitals. Then fifth one is generally promote and prevention of control of communicable diseases. Communicable diseases. Communicable diseases. Communicable diseases. So communicable diseases means chickenpox, malaria, typhoid, and viral infections. There are many things. Now that COVID-19 also, it is a viral infection. Communicable diseases. Even TB, all these things. Achieving universal access of information and communication system. And facilities for safe abortions to be increased. Safe abortions. If certain newly married couple, they go for late pregnancy, they can go for abortions. And promote delayed marriage for girls. Promote delayed marriage for girls. Delayed marriages. Marriages must be postponed. When the marriages will postpone by girl childs, there is a importance given to reducing of population. If we encourage girl child to go for early marriage, more marriages, more population. Less marriages, less population. So it should be depends on the girl child interests and family members' attitude. So this is promote delayed marriages. Late marriages are always safe. It can reduce indirectly population. Then coming to promote the small family norms. To promote small family norms. If your family size will be less, there will be many economic programs, economic schemes will be applied to your family. 1 or 2 children. It is a less burden. More luggage is less burden. More family members, it is a more problems. More problems. It should be applied to even family members also. So it should, government has encouraged always norms of small families. Small families. So this is all about new population policy 2000. Population policy. As we have already discussed, population policy, it is given the outlines of immediate objectives, medium term objectives, long term objectives. Under immediate objectives, generally contraceptions, healthcare, personal and other contraceptions. Second one is lowering down of total fertility rate. Third one, that is long term objectives, to reduce population by 2045, it should be stabilized. Stable population must be achieved. So under that, there are many things also we have this: reducing MMR, maternal mortality rate, reducing IMR, infant mortality rate, and also vaccination for all the children against all type of diseases. Then coming to achieve 100% deliveries in government hospitals. Then coming to communicable diseases must be reduced. And again, safe abortions. Safe facilities for safe abortions to be increased. Promote delayed marriages and increasing the small family norms. So this is all if we write with regard to when this question comes, population policy, definitely it comes as a 5 marks, Then coming to Another important thing is occupational distribution of population. Occupational distribution of population. Occupational distribution of population. This question also very often they are asking for 5 marks. Occupational distribution of population. Occupations. Occupation. What is your father occupation? And what is your mother occupations? My mother is housewife, sir. You may say. What is your father? My father is a driver. My father is a lecturer. My father is a teacher. My father is a postman. My father is a bank employee. Like this, you may give answers. But occupations, certain works has been given to certain people. So here the question is occupational distribution of population in India. Occupational structure of a country refers to distribution or division of people into different occupations. Different occupations. In introduction part, we can say. Division of people into different occupations. Broadly, it can be defined into 3 important occupations. Occupational structure indicates the distribution as well as absorption of population into different works. Absorption and engaged in different economic activities. So, in underdeveloped countries, majority of the people are still engaged in agriculture sector. In an underdeveloped country, majority of the people they still engaged in agriculture sector and other primary activities. Even some developed countries like Japan, Sweden and England, fishing is the main occupation. Fishing continues to be an important occupation, providing employment of a substantial number of population. Country like Japan, Sweden, Norway, England, all these countries, fishing is the important occupation. It can provide more employment for its people. Then coming to certain definitions are there. Definitions. Definitions. There are 3 definitions, but we can understand or we can discuss 2 definitions, that is Simon Kuznets and Hans Singer. First definition. Definition 1. Simon Kuznets. Simon Kuznets definition, it is when the development of a country takes place, the percentage of population depends on agriculture sector should shift to industries and service sector. The percentage of population depends on agriculture sector should shift from industrial sector and service sector. Then only the development of a country can be possible. So that is the definition given by Simon Kuznets. Then coming to second person, Hans Singer. Hans Singer, he has defined with regard to occupational distribution of population, that is economic development can be achieved by transforming of 85% of rural population or agriculture dependency, it should be reduced to 15%. Can be achieved, transforming of 85% of agriculture dependent country into 15% of agriculture dependent country. According to him, 84% of agriculture dependency country should reduce 15%. should reduce 15% agriculture dependency country. Then only that country can be developed. Otherwise, it is underdeveloped. This is two are given by two persons with regard to occupational distribution of population, Hans Singer and Simon Kuznets. Then coming to primary occupations, secondary occupations and tertiary occupations. Primary occupations. Secondary occupations. Tertiary occupations. Tertiary occupations. Primary occupations, as we know, that agriculture and its allied activities like forestry, fishing, animal husbandry, poultry, horticulture, prawn culture, all these things comes under agriculture and its allied, that is primary occupations. Primary occupations, also called as agricultural activities, agriculture sector. So in this, forestry, fishing, animal husbandry, poultry farming and main basic things. All these products are essentially for human existence. They are carried with the help of nature. Agricultural products are human existence. All the activities should be carried by nature. Okay, a large proportion of people depends on agriculture sector still, especially in developing countries. Large proportion of the people. In earlier, nearly 72% people depends on agriculture sector in rural areas, but gradually the development of science and technology and mechanization in agriculture sector and introduction of green revolution in agriculture sector, there are many other sectors expanded. The reduction of agriculture sector, it has been reduced from 72% to 54%. But the contribution from agriculture sector still it is high. Earlier it is nearly 46% and later 38%. Now it is nearly 16% from agriculture sector contribution to national GDP. Then coming to second occupation, that is secondary occupations. Secondary occupation also called as industrial sector, which includes mining, curing, manufacturing, electricity, gas and water supply. Water supply and construction. These are all things. So generally mining, curing, manufacturing, electricity, gas, water supply and construction, all these things comes under industrial sector. In industrial sector nowadays plays an important role for providing more employment opportunity for youth, rural youth. Then coming to tertiary sector or service sector. Tertiary or service sector, it is a completely service sector. It includes trade, commerce, communication, transportation, banking, insurance, real estate and all these things, personal and social services. Okay, even teaching, medical, banking, insurance, transportation, airways, all these things comes under tertiary occupations, tertiary sector. If we see the data from 1951 to 2011, the So there is a close relationship between the development of an economy and changing occupational structure. Changing occupational structure, occupational distribution. Here, primary, secondary, and tertiary. 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 So here that is 1951, 1991, 2001, 2011. So here it is 72%, 72 to 11%, whereas 17.02%. In earlier agriculture sector 72%. In secondary sector it is nearly 10.7%. Whereas by 2011 it is 48.9%, 24.3%, whereas 26.8%. So primary sector it has been reducing, whereas secondary sector also more or less it has been increasing. Even service sector also, the dependency, we are talking in terms of dependency, or people who depend on particular sector. It is not a contribution. When it comes to the contribution from service sector, it is nearly 60% from service sector, but dependency on service sector it is only 26%. So this is all about occupational distribution of population. Occupational distribution of population. When this question comes, what is the meaning of occupational distribution of population, and what are the definitions given by Simon Kuznets and Hans Singer? Then coming to classify the primary sector, primary occupations, secondary occupations, and tertiary occupations. Then we have to go for table year, that is 1951, 1991, 2001, 2011. Coming to primary sector, secondary sector, and service sector. If we give the relevant data, then it will be good answer for 5 marks. Okay. Then coming to meaning of human resource development, which is very important concept in the second chapter. Meaning of human resource development. Meaning of human resource development. What is the meaning? Meaning we can see HRD, human resource development, play an important role in any country, in any economy. Generally, it refers to the process of acquiring an increased number of persons who have the skills, education, capacities, and positive work attitude with experience for economic development of a country. Generally, it is a process of acquiring and increasing of knowledge, skills, experience, capacities, capabilities, and positive work attitude with experience for economic of any country. It is called human resource. Human resource, it is a inner talents in human brain. Inner talents, experience, it is an asset. Capacities in an individual, it is an asset. And innovations, ideas, trainings, skills, all these things possess a human resource. An educated, especially for technical educated people, they may have lot of things. Then coming to HRD, always associated with investment in man and his development. Investment in human resources is very important. According to Sulch, argued that investment in education enhances human capacity. Okay, investment in human capital means expenditure on health, education, research and trainings and social services in general. But among all this, education is important thing. Investment in human capital. Human capital means whatever the expenditure done on education, health, trainings, all these things comes under human capital. So if there is a wider investment in human resource, it can give more additional capacity to the government. So through education, through human development, technical, professional and administrative people acquired making effective use of material resources. So this is very important things. Then coming to role of education in economic development. Role of education and economic development. Role of education and economic development. Role of education and economic development. So under this, there should be 5 important points we have to study. Education and economic growth. Education and economic growth. Second one, education and reduction in income inequalities. Education and rural development. Education and rural development. Fourth one is education and family planning. Education and family planning. So first of all, we have to see the education and economic growth. Education and reduction in income inequalities. Education and rural development. Education and family planning and other important benefits. So first of all, we have to go for that education and economic growth. According to MP Todaro, no country can achieve sustainable economic development without substantial investment on human resource. No country can achieve substantial development without substantial investment on human resource. So MP Todaro and Adam Smith, education contributes to economic growth in the developed and developing countries a lot. It helps in creating more productive labor force, and with the increased knowledge, it can give more productive labor force with skilled. It helps to providing widespread of employment, income. There are many things. Without education, no country can achieve. Then education and reduction in income inequalities. Education, we can say it is a great egalitarian measure. Education can equate for all the people. Education can equate. so which can improve the human resource in general on one hand, on the other enable the less privileged people also. They can improve a lot economically and socially. And the underprivileged people, they can get proper education, they can improve their socio-economic status. Then coming to education and rural development. Education can contribute significantly to rural development in a variety of ways by widening of horizon and the knowledge of the rural people. It can enable them to implement modern techniques, especially in agriculture sector, and reduce and render the easier of the farmers. Education can orient as to improve the agricultural useful implements, and they can produce more output, yieldings. Education and family planning. Education helps in modernizing and making way thinking of people. It enlightened them to need less, improve their standard of living. As long as more and more women become literate, seek employment, and fertility rates also indirectly it can be reduced, fertility rate. Then coming to other important benefits through education, meeting the skills and manpower requirement, growing economy, the provision of environment that stimulate research and science and technology, to enhance the enjoyment of leisure by widening of intellectual horizon, both the educated and uneducated. Education enrich people understanding themselves and world. So education in India, as we have seen during 11th 5-year plan, during 12th 5-year plan, it has given top priority for education. 11th 5-year plan, we can say that it is an education plan. Even 12th 5-year plan also, lot of money allocation has been spent for elementary and for higher education at university level educations. So Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, it is a 2 marks question. Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, it is meant for, or it is introduced in the year 2001 and 2002, universalization of elementary education. Okay, it is intended to bridge social and regional and gender gap. So this school education, this Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, it is meant for the age of 6 to 14 years. And role of health in economic development. NRHM, National Rural Health Mission, and NUHM, National Urban Health Mission. These programs, it has meant for to reduce more diseases and also become people healthy. So NRHM, it is introduced in the year 2005. So there are small topics are there, that is some indicators are there, that also we have to be discussed if the time permits. So that is generally indicators of economic development, that is HDI, Human Development Index, Gender Related Development Index, and Human Poverty Index, Multi-Dimensional Poverty Index, and Physical Life Index. These are all, if we see in the second chapter systematically, then we will get nearly one 10 marks question is there, definitely 2 or 3 2 marks questions, one 5 marks question, nearly 17 marks it carries from second chapter. So with this second chapter, that is population and human resource development topic, is completed. Thank you for watching. Thank you.